What up, curls? It's Lauren here with another episode of the Simply Curly channel. I'm super excited for today's chitty chat girl chat, along with me just doing my normal skincare for the night. Before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to the Simply Curly channel for all future videos, Thursdays and Sundays, and don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. Let's get into it, curls. Okay, so today, as you guys have already seen the title of this video, I'm just talking a little bit more. Well, first off, I'm just doing my skincare, and I figured I'd chit chat with you guys about my experiences with my thyroid. So again, we're just gonna chit chat while I'm doing my skincare for tonight, multitasking, especially since I talk about hair and skincare and lifestyle on this channel. Figured it'd be fitting. If you wanted to know more about my skincare routine, I'll put the link above so you guys can go to that video if you decide to. I'm gonna give you guys sort of like a lesson of about your thyroid, because I feel like most people, maybe a lot of people know about it, but I feel like at least I didn't know about my thyroid as much as I thought I did or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. I do have notes to keep me focused, to give you guys the real information. So if you see my notebook, it's just because I prepared for this discussion. But first off, I want to talk about your endocrine system. Your endocrine system is a chemical messenger system comprising feedback loops of hormones released by internal glands. The major glands in your body are your thyroid and your adrenal glands. These hormones regulate the body's growth and metabolism. This system is responsible for almost every cell, organ, and function in your body. So it's a part of our body that we learn about, right? Biology, blah, blah, blah. But you don't really realize how much of a role it has in your body until it doesn't work right for you, right? So we're talking about thyroid today. So there's two types of thyroid issues that you can have. So you can have hypothyroidism or hypothyroidism. Gonna talk about hypo today because that's what I deal with. But I did want to just put a little blurb or talk about really quickly hyper thyroidism. Basically, the definition is the overproduction of hormones by the butterfly-shaped gland in your neck. That's the thyroid. This increases your metabolism. So a lot of times side effects of this is like weight loss, really extreme weight loss, things like that would coincide with somebody having a very high metabolism. But what I'm going to be talking about today is hypothyroidism and my experience with it. I don't talk about it that much at all. Yeah, I feel like only my family or my personal or super close friends know I have hypothyroidism. I don't really blast it, or I mean, maybe I have, but I don't remember talking about it too much. So just to give you guys a definition of hypothyroidism, the thyroid does not produce enough thyroid hormone. This can disrupt things such as heart rate, body temperature, and all aspects of your metabolism. So it slows your metabolism down and anything that's involved with it. So obviously for example, your heart, that heart rate is affected by a slower metabolism, etc. For me, and I'll get into my story and my experience in just a second, but for me, when I was diagnosed, they tell you the cause of it. And mine is, of course, it's genetic. So when it's the genetic version, you have Hashimoto's disease. So I have Hashimoto's disease. And the definition of that is it's chronic. Obviously, it's a disease. And it's a condition in which your immune system attacks your thyroid. So my immune system naturally attacks my thyroid, which causes my thyroid gland to be inflamed untreated. This leads to an underactive thyroid, hence low metabolism and things that affect, your hormone levels in that nature. Sorry, I just wanted to apply the rest of my mask and make sure it's good. So I'm gonna continue to chit chat while my mask is setting. Like I said, multitasking. And you guys, I have on my favorite candle. I know y'all can't see it in the background, but just good vibes all around for this girl chat. Oh, also, I forgot to say, hypothyroid I found is more common for middle-aged women. So obviously, I'm not a middle-aged woman. It develops within my body. I wouldn't say earlier than expected because mine is genetics. My mother and my maternal grandmother have hypothyroidism too. So yeah, it's common for middle-aged women, if you guys didn't know that. The symptoms are, it's a long list, so I'm just gonna get through it. Fatigue, increased sensitivity to cold, constipation, pale, dry skin, puffy face, brittle nails, hair loss, enlargement of tongue, unexplained weight gain, muscle ache, stiffness, muscle weakness, excessive prolonged menstrual bleeding, depression, memory lapses. So yeah, those are the symptoms. And then I got some stats for you guys. So according to the US National Library of Medicine, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, that's sort of the medical term for Hashimoto's disease, affects 1 to 2% of people in the United States. Obviously, you guys do the math. That is a lot of people because there are a lot of people in the US. So just 1% of the population is a lot. And it's more common in women. And according to the American Thyroid Association, greater than 12% of the United States population will develop a thyroid condition during their lifetime. 20 million Americans have some form of thyroidism. So I say that to say that it is pretty common. So if you found yourself coming to this video, you're probably just curious about my life, or you're like me when I found out that I had the hypothyroidism. Even though my doctor talked to me about it, I wanted to sort of find people that had experienced it. How did they, like, what was their experience, like learning about the disease or learning about their thyroidism, like what do they do to combat it. So I actually like searched a lot on YouTube and didn't really find that much. There was a lot of weird videos. So that's really the reason why I wanted to chat with you guys about it, because when I found out, I felt as though like there weren't that many videos, because everybody uses YouTube, so that's like my search engine. Like I'm trying to see what people are talking about, how they feel, like that, especially for people with Hashimoto's disease. Like this is a chronic illness, so like for the rest of your life you're gonna have to deal with this. And like, are there homeopathic solutions, or do you have to take the pharmaceutical drug and things like that? So yeah, that's the premise of this video, like why it came up for me. So now it's sort of like the story time portion. So I brought my little bullet points so I can just remember everything I want to tell you guys. But my experience, so just so you guys know, I guess I'm more recently diagnosed. I was diagnosed, I think, fall of 2018. Though I can say I was knowledgeable about thyroidism through my mother and my grandmother. A lot of times my mom would say, girl, did you go to the doctor? The thyroid's looking enlarged. And I used to be like, girl, I feel fine, I'm fine. Like the doctor says I'm fine, so I'm fine. It just really didn't come up for me until recently. Honestly, I went to an annual checkup, like with your physician, just like, hey girl, your heart rate, your blood pressure, you good, like that kind of appointment. And when they were doing the normal, like checking your throat, my doctor was like, are you feeling okay? And you guys, I'm not even being dramatic. Well, okay, I'm being a little bit dramatic. She was more like, are you feeling okay? Like concerning, like, almost like I was gonna die a little bit kind of concerned. She was really concerned for my health. That's the energy that she had behind it. And I was like, my face was just like I feel fine. And I knew what she was getting at because I know my mother and my grandmother, they have this. So I was like, well, thyroidism runs through my family. Is there something wrong with my thyroid? And she was like, oh, it does. She's like, oh, we're going to get you an ultrasound ASAP because your thyroid is very enlarged. And, I never really noticed it until that day. And like in hindsight, I think that my numbers were just completely thrown off or off for some reason, very elevated that specific day that I happened to go into the doctor's office. Because if you experience thyroidism, it fluctuates. So in that specific day, I went in and my thyroid was very elevated. And how sometimes when people point something out to you and you don't like notice it until they've said it, and then you take inventory of yourself like, oh shoot, yeah, like she was right about that. That's how I felt when she said that. She pointed it out, and then when I got home, I was looking at my neck for like a long time. I was like swallowing, and I was like, you know what? It is very hard for me to swallow. And this was not self-manifesting. I guess I didn't know what to look for before. And when your body is used to functioning a certain way, you're not going to notice it. Like, I just didn't notice it. I thought that that's how my body was. Like, I didn't know anything else. So I just didn't notice it until she said something. So fast forward to getting the full diagnosis. So at that appointment, I scheduled an ultrasound, and then I had to schedule a follow-up with the endocrinologist. And so I had my ultrasound, but they didn't tell me the results right away. I had to wait for my endocrinologist to review the data and then have the follow-up consultation. And so basically, they were just like, yeah, your thyroid is very enlarged. Well, actually, it wasn't a follow-up with my endocrinologist. It was a follow-up with my primary physician. And then they referred me to an endo. So I had the ultrasound, came back to my primary care physician, and she's like, so yeah, we checked your ultrasound and you have hypothyroidism, and we need to schedule you with the endocrinologist to go over your blood work and all these things. So from that appointment, I had to get my blood drawn in preparation for the endo appointment. And I believe at that appointment is when they told me I had Hashimoto's, because they have to test your blood, see what your levels are actually at. At first, again, backtracking, they looked at the ultrasound to make sure, to see what it was that was enlarged in my throat first. They found it was a thyroid, so they referred me to the endo, and I had my blood work already done. And so, yeah, they're like, you have Hashimoto's disease, and it is genetics. And so I was just like, all right, like, is this bad? Like, because I don't know, I'm pretty healthy. I don't have like, outside of this, I've never had any issues like with my health. So sort of, even though it's common, I sort of was just like, wow, something's wrong with my body. My body is attacking itself, and I can't really do anything about it but take medicine my whole life. So that was sort of not sad, but I was just like, ugh, I have to do this my whole life. Like, why can't my body just be normal? Kind of that kind of thought process. But I did tell my endo that, me and my husband, we really, we want to have kids. And so, like, how does this affect that? And she said, until we get your numbers regulated, do not stop trying or be safe, with intercourse, because you do not want to be pregnant when your numbers are off. And reason being is because I believe, again, you guys, I am not a trained physician. I'm not a doctor. So this is just my experience. So I believe she was saying that because my numbers were so high. So I just recorded like the last 5 minutes of this segment, and my phone ran out of storage, so it wasn't actually recording. So I did wash my mask off, but I also toned my face, put serums on, and moisturizer. So I'm actually done with my skincare. That's okay. I was trying to see where I left off in my videos. Let's do this again. Because my numbers were so high, it's not safe to have a baby. It leads to high rates of miscarriages, or it significantly affects the development, that first period of development for a fetus, especially for the brain development in your pregnancy. And so to just avoid that completely is safest. And she told me if by any chance I do get pregnant, I needed to call her ASAP. Like, she was so serious about that. So yeah, that was my experience at the doctor. So I went on and we had to, regulate my levels. So after that doctor's appointment, I got my first prescription of my levothyroxine. And then I had to get my blood drawn a month after that because they wanted to see how that medicine was working. And I needed to take a little bit of a higher dose after that. And then after that meeting, I got the new dose. And then a month later, I needed to go in for another blood test to see where I was at. At that point, I was good to go. And then the next visit was going to be in 5 to 6 months. So after that, it was like 5 to 6 months ratio of me going into the endocrinologist, and she was really nice. I will never forget my first endocrinologist, Dr. Church. She was lit and just cute. She was just really nice, and she was real with me. But yeah, that was my journey when I first got diagnosed, and now I'm here. My dosage ended up being a little bit more elevated than it should be when I got tested again in August. So now I have to take like half of my pills on Sunday. Yeah, everything's pretty normal for me. My struggle actually and right now is taking my medicine at the same time every day. If anyone has started taking this medicine, they know the feeling. I've tried it all, like the like medicine capsule thing, the weekly, the daily thing. It's hardest for me on the weekends, honestly, because I sleep in on the weekends and I just have to do a better job of setting my alarm for taking my medicine. I think that's what's going to help me. So I would strongly suggest that to others. If you are also struggling in taking your medicine the same time every day, definitely on the days you're going to wake up, maybe not as your normal days, if you're not going to wake up the same time as when you're working or going to school, on those days you're definitely going to want to set an alarm at the very least to make sure you're very consistent throughout the week. So I have 3 more topics I want to talk about: what it means long term, side effects I experience, if any, and how my hair is affected. So for me, this means long term that I'm taking this medicine every day. Every day, I have to stick with the medication. If I were, or whenever I do get pregnant, I will have to do blood work every month to make sure that my levels are regulated, and if I need to change my medicine, that I do. And also, I would have to take a higher dosage off tops to compensate for a fetus if I was pregnant. So that's my life. It would not be a quote unquote normal pregnancy. Other than that, though, I'm just living a healthy life. I am interested again in learning about homeopathic solutions instead of using a pharmaceutical medicine. Just because I am 27 again, and I just, if I'm gonna be taking this for the rest of my life, hopefully I live to 100. I don't think my body will be able to take all that medication that long. That's a long time. Like, that's a lot of pills if you think about it. And what I think about too is like I felt normal before. So I'm not encouraging not taking medicine. It's just probable that I didn't realize the damage that my disease was doing to my body. So I have to mentally get away from that thought. It's like, I don't feel that different. Like, do I need to take the medicine? Like, yes, I do, because things are happening within my body that I don't see. And I just need to pay attention to the doctor. But I am on this hunt for homeopathic solutions. So that's for me long term. It doesn't really change that much for me. I have a spike of energy. I'm not as tired. When I do skip medicine again, I experience the fatigue. So that's the only thing I feel. I would say like my stress levels are the same with or without medicine. I haven't noticed a difference. Being irritable, my husband can probably tell you if he's noticed a difference. I can't notice a difference personally. Speaking on the side effects I experience, not that many. I can notice when I skip pills, I can notice like the difference. I get extremely tired. I will sleep for a long time. And if you guys don't know, the pills accumulate. They don't, when you take it that day, it's not like a boost of energy that day. It's like compounds on each other. So medicine I don't take today will affect me a week and a half from today. So if I recently I went on a trip and I forgot my medicine, so I wasn't taking it for like 3 days, and I felt it a week and a half later, and I just passed out, and I felt myself passing out, which it was sort of scary because I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to go to sleep, but my body is not allowing me to stay awake. Like that's how it felt, and I was knocked out, exhausted. So that's pretty much the side effects there. A little bit of heart palpitation sometimes, and it's been more recently because, and I think it's because my medicine got a little bit too high, and they had to lower the dosage. But so now not too often. So when I had too much medicine, I felt my heart flutter like really quickly. But before I had the medicine, I had that case where I was in the mall and I was like breaking down because my heart, I felt like it was skipping. It was like skipping a beat. So it wasn't going fast, it was actually slow. So that was pretty scary. I was in the mall and I can be a little bit dramatic, but it stopped me in my tracks and my heart was like, it was struggling to like beat, and I was so scared for that like minute. I texted my hubby and was like, my heart hurts so bad. Like if I pass out, I'm gonna be in the emergency room. Like I'm so dramatic, but I texted him right away because I needed him to know where I was at. But it passed, and it took 5 whole minutes for me to feel back to normal. So that was actually before I got diagnosed that happened. But as I'm diagnosed now and have been taking the medicine for a year now, actually, I feel fine. You feel fine, which is great. It's a blessing for sure. So the last point I want to talk about, since this is a hair channel, you know what I'm saying? My hair, is it affected? So technically the side effects are hair loss. You guys, if this is your first video you've watched, okay, this is not my real hair, this is extensions. Feel free to go to see how I installed these clip ins. But my leave outs in the front, so you can see a little bit of my hair. But I do notice my hair is thinning. I've actually been researching lately what does it look like when your hair is thinning, because it's not very obvious. Like my hair is not like balding in one part of my hair where you can actually see, oh, my hair fell out right there. So I have been noticing a little bit more shedding than normal. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and my hair is changing. I'm not that old though, I'm 27, okay? But you know, as you grow and get older, your body changes. Even your nose is still growing. Like your nose, I don't know if you guys know that, but your nose literally grows for a long time, even if your bones and everything has stopped growing. That's crazy, right? Other than that, I'm just going to be monitoring my hair. If I notice a big change, I will be reaching out to my primary care physician. But right now it's very slight. I could be just hypersensitive to it just because I know that is a symptom. So I'm trying to pay attention to things that might be making up in my head versus what's actually happening. So it's just something that I'll have to take inventory of. Again, I've only been diagnosed for a year. So we'll see. We'll see next year, in another year, how I'm feeling. So I just wanted to end this video parting you with some encouragement. If you have found this video because you've been on a search, maybe you've got recently diagnosed with thyroidism, some form of it, or you're just curious about the topic, hopefully this was helpful to you. Again, I've only spoken to you from my experience and what I've been told by my doctors. I hope this helped you, because when I was searching around for just people's experiences, I don't know, maybe I didn't relate to them or they just weren't that helpful. So hopefully I'm adding to that content and you found this helpful, or just in the very least found someone that's like you, maybe looks like you, that has the same situation as you going on. Feel free to chat and start a chat below. If you have a form of thyroidism, shout it out. Maybe we should make a hashtag. Maybe the hashtag should be hashtag hypo all day. And then if you have hyper, hashtag hyper all day. That's actually funny. If you found this helpful, definitely comment below. If you've noticed anything in your journey with your thyroidism that I haven't mentioned yet, definitely comment below, because you don't know who you're gonna help, especially in the future when this video has been up for a while and somebody coming to this video, they might watch the video and then look at the comments too. So anything that you know about your situation, put that below, start chat below and all of that, sis, because you never know who you're gonna help. And the last thing I wanted to say about thyroidism in general, it's not the end of the world. Definitely get your checkups. Don't miss a doctor's visit. Don't miss your medicine. Whatever medicine you do, whether it be the pharmaceutical version, homeopathic, don't waver on that, because if you waver, you're going to backtrack, because it is, at least for me, my Hashimoto's is a disease and it's chronic. So it's not going to go away. It's how you're going to maintain it and make sure your body's in the right place to operate functionally. So that's all I have for you, curls. Hopefully you enjoyed this little chitty chatty bitty batty. And until next time, peace and love. Also, I see y'all. I see you. I see you watching my videos and not subscribing. You know you're about to binge another video. You're going to see the next clip. It's gonna swipe right or whatever. You're gonna see my video options to click, suggestions, and you're gonna click it, but you're not gonna subscribe. You might as well just subscribe if you're gonna binge watch my videos. Subscribe down below. Make sure you guys hit that bell notification so you can be the first to know when I post a video. Again, love you guys. Thank you for the support. Peace and love.